Hello everyone, and welcome to my review of the Kershaw Leek. This knife was designed by Ken Onion, who, as well as being a member of the U.S. Marines, is also a custom knife maker, and designed this knife, as well as many others you'll see at Kershaw. So he knows how to make a good tactical knife, and this is certainly one of them. So I'll just quickly go into some first impressions that you can pretty much gather from web pages. Basically just first looks of the knife itself. Okay, now classification. Knife category. Lightweight tactical by all means. I won't call this an EDC blade really. I mean, while it can function in that, you'll see why as the review unfolds. But $40 to $60 is the price range. At yourcornerstore.com sells it for $40. Most places you see $60. Outside specifications, we'll go into those right now. 2.4 ounces, 69 grams. So actually surprisingly lightweight for the blade length and overall size, the blade length being 3 inches, the overall length 7 inches, with as well, if I can get this set here, 4-inch handle. So a lot of weight has certainly been engineered out of this knife, and quite nice for a blade that you might find yourself carrying pretty often. Carry method is by this pocket clip, which is tip up and tip down orientation, not for left-handers. We'll get into that more later. Lockup is a liner lock, as you can see right in here. I'll try and get my camera to cooperate though. There we go. So now the lockup is very solid. I'll discuss that probably a little more right now. Or, excuse me, not right now, and as the review progresses. But those are basically all the things that you'll see from the outside specifications. And now I'll go a little more detail, starting with the blade. Okay, the blade detail. The shape, I'm going to call this, it's pretty much what I'd call a sheep's foot blade, because of this really low point. Drops down, certainly not a drop point, like drop points have their points much higher mounted right here, although this is almost a straight edge right here. A sheep's foot traditionally has a steel projecting a little more right here and doesn't have much of a tip, but that's about as close as I can seem to come for a blade shape for this. And if you look at the tip here, really needle sharp tip, this thing right here. Just a wicked point, to be honest. And this is certainly going to be a reason why you may not want this as an EDC blade, because that's a really delicate tip. But in a thrust attack, you wouldn't do much better. Now the grind is pretty much flat ground. You can see a little bit of a hollow ground maybe, just right in here, but mostly flat. And the steel is Sandvik 13C26, which is a stainless steel. And I'll go into that right now. It's usually in the area of 56 to 62 HRC. I'm guessing this is probably around 57 or so. That's just a guess. In my experience, that's what I would probably call this. These usually have around 0.7 carbon, so fairly high, and well, to be honest, it's sort of between AUS 8 and AUS 6 steel. And the Sandvik steel is very hard, corrosion resistance, has quite good wear resistance. And steel, actually, you often see in razor blades, and even started in the food industry, I believe. So, now I'll just address some other extras we have on the blade here. The method of access on this blade is via speed safe, which is just a design by Kershaw. Every manufacturer's coming out with these spring-assisted openers. You know, you see all the different names, like SOG's got SAT, SOG Assisted Technology. This is speed safe. Each manufacturer seems to have its own name for it. Whatever, doesn't really matter to me. But so we've got on here these little thumb studs, which are indeed useless. They can kind of work, I guess, but it's really hard to get your thumb without actually pushing on that ramp itself to work. However, these aren't really vestigial because that serves as a back stop for the lock, so it can't go any further. And again, the lockup is really nice on this. There's 0 blade plate side to side. It's had no adjustment and still just rock solid. And if you have any idea how many times I've opened this blade, you'd understand that what I mean by saying it's definitely a good lockup system. So this little hook, or not hook, excuse me, just this little sort of button-like thing, that's what you press, and speed safe takes over. So really, really fast deployment and works very well. I'll just briefly show you here on drawing from your pocket and taking it out. I'll just demonstrate the opening and how this is really quite fast. All we got to do is open, push the button. I'm not even very practiced with this, and I can open it quite fast. As you'll see, even from a hands down position here, come up, pull out, open. So definitely fast deployment, about as fast as you're going to get without, say, an Emerson opener. Little small of a handle to grab, but still, you can open it quite fast.